Okay. Talk about the first full moon of 2025. And I think it is uh, probably very like emotional for everyone right now, especially with all the things that are happening in the world. Um, yeah, it's a lot. Um, so the full moon is conjunct this Mars retrograde in Cancer, which is opposed the Sun in Capricorn and the Sun and Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. What else is happening? Venus and Saturn are conjunct in Aquarius right now, and that is square Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. And while I was trying to figure out like how to describe um, these energies, I was listening to music and the song Perfect 10 by Mustard and Nipsey came on. And there's a couple lines in there that I feel like really describe like the energy. Where your backbone, nigga, where your code at, where your heart, nigga, where your soul at. If it's about money, ain't a nigga that I won't check. Run through your hardest homeboy, you could go next. And I feel like that those lines explain this Saturn conjunct Venus square Jupiter retrograde. Like what do you stand for? What are your values? What do you value? Um, and also like you about your money, and it don't really gotta be like the physical currency or like bank account dollars, but just about like your lifestyle, your whatever you value, whatever you desire, whatever you um whatever your possessions are, whatever you hold dear. um what are you gonna do about like if somebody tries you on that? How are you going to respond? And also he says our reaction to being disrespected, we got to reassess how we react. um and then yeah, and I feel like that also goes into this Jupiter retrograde in Taurus, square the Saturn Venus conjunction. Like, oh, and also this Mars retrograde, because Mars is like you're a warrior. Like that's who gonna come when you are feeling threatened. That's who's gonna fight for you. So this is asking how are we going to respond when we feel disrespected, when our emotions are heightened. Like what are we doing with that energy? How are we moving it? And then he also says, I went through every emotion trying to pursue what I'm doing. He says, I'm gonna die behind what I'm getting at. And it's like um yeah, I think this is telling us to sit with all the emotions that are coming up with this with anything that you are doing. Like you really gotta sit with them and think critically about what you are feeling. And if it is worth still pursuing, if those feelings are just lessons and obstacles that you need to get through, or are those feelings of like, okay, now I need to stop, pivot, and reassess. And then I took a little break writing this outline or whatever, and I was watching um, this movie on Netflix called The Free State of Jones. And then a line in it. So the scene is these Confederate soldiers who abandoned the Confederacy join these like free freed enslaved people, um, and another white man who was like and was part of the Confederacy and is now like fighting for freedom, but not actually with the Union. Like they're their own thing. They're not with it. They're just okay. Um, and then they are like eating or whatever. The black person is going to get some food. One of the white men's is like, "That ain't for you. That ain't for you, nigga." The black man responds is like, "How you ain't?" And he was like, what? So then the other white man comes up and he was like, he's saying how you ain't a nigga. And then he was like, all they did was pick cotton and you was willing to get killed for them because he was an ex-Confederate soldier. And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is asking you to reassess, like, and reassess and m- manage your anger. Do not misdirect your anger because he was mad at this black man, and you should be mad at the people who is sending you to die for their right to own this black man. And it's like you're directing your anger at him when you should be directing it at the person who's really got their foot on your neck. And that can be in a micro level too in your personal lives. Like, make sure we are assessing where those feelings are coming from and directing them appropriately, and yeah, putting our anger in the right places, because one, your anger is valid. It is telling you where you have been disrespected, um, where a boundary has been crossed, or something. It's telling you something, so it shouldn't be ignored, and it needs to go somewhere productive. We can use that energy productive. We can do something. Um, and then the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is not really, I mean, it is about this full moon. So the moon is moving from Gemini into Cancer for the full moon in Cancer. And then next week, this Mars retrograde is going to move back into Gemini. So they're going like this. And I think that whatever is coming up for this full moon is emotions and things that need to be cleared. And then what is coming up when Mars goes into Gemini is like a better thought thought process. Um, and it may help you assess where those emotions and things are coming from. And it probably will. So like from this time, from Monday, January the 20th, up until when Mars goes direct. I think it's about a month. I think it's like February the 22nd through to the 24th, one of those days, somewhere in there. But um, yeah, moving in this next month, uh, thinking about the things that are coming up now. And when Mars goes direct, we are in action mode, being able to integrate new thought processes, and then being able to integrate, like, are being able to process new emotions or have a new, like, emotional intelligence when Mars goes back into Cancer. So I think that is also what is happening right now. And yeah, that is that is what I'm feeling. It feels like, yeah, very, very emotionally overwhelming, but also there's like comfort. It is very stern, but in a way that is like, if you don't get your shit together, like, it's over for you. Like, it's really you. Like, you gotta do it. Um, but yeah, that's what I feel this full moon is. It's very yeah, like, yeah, I think it's gonna be very sobering for a lot of people. Um, but also I'm very hopeful that like people are reassessing their lives and how they are being treated, and are advocating for their personal, like, better, advocating to be treated better in every aspect of their life, including how they treat themselves, talking to me. Um, yeah.